Hey guys, so today you and I are going to talk about the diversity in approaches in programming. So let's get into it. So the question in question was extremely long today, so I'm just going to break it down to the bare bone minimum. The question was, Frederick, I find that it's sometimes hard to find information on different things such as deployment and things like that, because it seems like everybody does deployment differently. And I wonder if you would be open to helping a junior out with this. So my quick answer to this one is yes, I would be very open to helping people out to that. I actually wrote back to this person. I'm guessing that they haven't had the chance to look at my other material, but yes, I will be very open to help people out with this sort of thing. Completely free of charge, of course, as well, because I'm just that type of guy. Anywho, deployments. So what this person was touching on in this message was that he feels that everybody does it differently. And this is absolutely true. And this is the beautiful part about software development. And this is why I get into these little fist fights, well, imaginary fist fights, with people on the comment sections who are telling me that, no, this is true, Frederick, and that's not true. What you're saying is bullshit, and this is true, and so forth and so forth. And I keep on telling you guys, or these people, that when I state something to you, I try my absolute best to cover a range of things that is fairly common. The thing that is common. I'm not in any way stating that this is the only way to do something. I don't care if there's a million and one ways of doing something, because all I'm trying to capture is the thing, to the best of my abilities, of course. I want to capture the thing that is most likely for you to encounter out there in the wild, because this person is absolutely right. Everybody does it differently. Guys, programming is not a job where you do the thing that everybody else is doing in the exact same way. If you want that sort of occupation, go to a construction or an assembly line or something like that. That's where you do things exactly the way it says in the book, always. In this industry, it's much more like sales. Now, sales is an extremely hard thing to learn in a theoretical manner from just reading books. You can get inspired, you can get tips, and you can have workshops, you can do tons of things to make yourself a better salesperson. But at the end of the day, it comes down to dynamic information and dynamic situations where you have to use your own wits and, well, communication skills to convey an idea or to get somebody excited about a brand or a product or something like that. There are no textbooks for this. There's nothing that will just, if you just say these magic words, it's always going to work the same way, because it's always going to be a different situation. So that's why you need to get a understanding of a range of things in order for you to be effective at this. When it comes to deployment, he specifically asked me about, all right, so Webpack, NPM, and Yarn, and Gulp and Grunt, and so forth. And like, everybody seems to be doing it differently. And this is it's so true. This is exactly how it works. And I would go one further, and I would say that this is the same thing with everything. It's there are certain tools that you may find are very popular and used in a certain context, but some tools are not. So in the context of NPM, on these different deployment strategies, well, technically that's not deployment, it's more building things, but like when some companies do really like to use Gulp and Grunt because they want to have a task runners. Most of them actually are using it still because, yeah, well, I'm not going to touch on that actually all that much, but quite a lot of people are still using these things more because they were extremely popular at one point in time and they're less popular today. Like if you're starting a fresh project today, it's actually very common that you just use something like Webpack, or if you want to, you can use NPM script as well. So like that's one way of looking at it. And at another company, you can look at it from the perspective, you're going to find that, oh, they use both Webpack and Grunt as an example. And that's exactly the case at my job. And there's really no reason why. We could have used something else if we wanted to, but we're not. We're using that thing. So you may have heard me state this at in a previous video where I've said that when you're learning technical skills, such as those that you need to be a software developer, it is extremely similar to learning a second language. You may not, and this is okay, you may not be using all the words in a language, but you still have to know what they mean. Because if you don't, you can't communicate effectively with other people. And that's exactly the thing I want you to take away from this. Because when you are looking at information on the internet, or you're looking up different ways of doing something, if you go in with the mindset that, oh yeah, I'm just gonna learn these magical tricks, and then I'm a programmer, I do things the same way as everybody else, that's not going to work, guys, because everybody has their own idea on how to do software development. And it's exactly like in sales in this regard. Like if you ask 10 businessmen how to do something, some of the stuff they're going to tell you is going to be the same, and quite a lot of things are going to be different, because they're different people and they have different experiences in a dynamic and very abstract field, if you will. And programmers are exactly the same, because my workflow is going to be different from your workflow. That company's workflow is going to be different from what I expect it to be. So you need to go in with an open mind and adopt these new tools as you kind of go along. As a beginner, you should start by learning just a few tools and get really good at those, but brace yourself, because those tools are not the answer. They're just the beginning, and by the end of all of this, you're going to have to learn quite a lot of more stuff in order to survive as a software developer. Have a great day.